Imagine holding a small, ordinary-looking 5-cent coin in your hand. It feels light, almost insignificant, the kind of change you might drop into a jar at the end of the day without a second thought. But what if I told you that this very coin carries a story that stretches across decades of American history, industrial might, artistic tradition, and the quiet thrill of modern coin collecting? Today, we are diving deep into one specific coin that many people have seen, some have spent, and a few lucky collectors have carefully preserved the well-baffled United States 5-cent coin with the D mint mark. To truly appreciate this coin, we need to travel back in time. The year 1984 was a fascinating moment in American history. The United States was in the midst of cultural change, technological growth, and economic recovery. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War still shaped global politics, and American industry was pushing forward after the challenges of the 1970s. Coins minted during this era were not just tools of commerce. They were small reflections of the nation's identity and priorities at the time. The 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel, had already been a familiar part of American life for generations by 1984. Its design had remained largely unchanged since 1938, when Felix Schlagg's iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson was introduced. By the time the Neobasul nickels rolled off the presses, this design had become one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage. Jefferson's calm, dignified profile on the obverse symbolized democratic ideals, intellect, and the enduring legacy of one of America's founding fathers. Now, let's talk about the mint mark. The small letter D on the obverse of the coin tells us that it was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint has a long and proud history, originally established during the gold rush era to process precious metals from the American West. By the 1980s, it had become one of the primary production facilities for circulating U.S. coinage. In 1980, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of nickels, ensuring that the nation had enough coins for daily commerce. Because so many 1980 nickels were produced, most people assume they're all common and of little value. And in circulated condition, that's generally true. Millions of these coins passed through countless hands, jingled in pockets, rolled in cash registers, and wore down over time. However, coin collecting is all about condition, rarity within condition, and unique characteristics, and that's where this story takes a dramatic turn. As the years passed, most well-baffled nickels experienced wear, contact marks, and discoloration. But a small number were preserved in exceptional condition, often straight from mint-issued rolls or carefully stored collections. These coins avoided the scratches and dulling that plague circulated examples. In the world of numismatics, condition is king, and the difference between an average coin and a top-grade specimen can mean the difference between face value and a jaw-dropping price. One of the challenges with 1980s nickels is the quality of the strikes. During this era, the U.S. Mint was focused on producing large quantities of coins efficiently. As a result, many nickels from this period show weak strikes, particularly on Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello. A well-struck Wilbasul D nickel with full detail is far scarcer than the mintage numbers alone would suggest. Collectors pay special attention to the steps on Monticello's reverse. Clear, uninterrupted steps indicate a strong strike and careful handling. Coins with sharply defined steps are often more desirable and command higher prices. While the full steps designation is more commonly associated with earlier Jefferson nickels, strike quality still plays a crucial role in evaluating later dates like Neobasul D. The story of the Neobasul D nickel is also a reminder of how value evolves over time. When the coin was minted, its worth was fixed at 5 cents. No one at the Denver Mint could have predicted that decades later, collectors would be willing to pay far more for a flawless example. This transformation from everyday change to collectible treasure highlights the dynamic nature of numismatics. As we move closer to the present day, the market for high-grade modern coins has continued to mature. Collectors have become more discerning, and registry set competitions have pushed demand for top-graded examples even higher. A single grade point can mean the difference between a common collectible and a standout rarity. Imagine a L'Albafo D nickel preserved in near-perfect condition, its surfaces gleaming with original mint luster, every detail crisp and clear. Jefferson's hair is fully defined, Monticello's lines are sharp, and the coin looks as if it were struck yesterday. Coins like this are exceptionally rare, and when they appear on the market, they attract serious attention. Now, let's bring all of this together. We've explored the historical backdrop of 1984, the enduring Jefferson nickel design, the role of the Denver Mint, the technical aspects of composition and strike, and the evolving nature of modern coin collecting. Each piece of the puzzle adds depth to the story of this unassuming coin, and this is where the story reaches its most surprising moment. After decades of circulation, careful preservation, expert grading, and growing collector demand, the value of a top-grade L'Albafo United States 5-cent coin with the D mint mark has climbed to an astonishing level. In today's market, a pristine, high-grade example of this coin has reached a current value of $144. Picture this: you're holding a small, unassuming coin between your fingers. It's cool to the touch, light in weight, something most people wouldn't give a second glance. It has passed through countless hands, rattled around in pockets, rested in jars on kitchen counters, and maybe even been tossed into vending machines without a thought. Yet this particular coin carries a story far richer than its modest size suggests. Today, we are diving into the journey of the United States 5-cent coin with the D mint mark, a modern nickel that quietly bridges American history, artistry, and the fascinating world of coin collecting. To truly appreciate this coin, we need to step back for a moment and understand where it fits in the long and evolving story of American coinage. The 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel, has been part of everyday life in the United States since the 19th century. It has witnessed wars, economic booms and busts, cultural shifts, and technological revolutions. By the time 2007 rolled around, the nickel was already a seasoned veteran of American commerce, yet it was also in the middle of a creative renaissance that made it far more interesting than most people realized. The early 2010s marked a special era for the U.S. nickel. After decades of carrying the familiar image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, the United States Mint decided to breathe new life into the design. This decision wasn't made lightly. The nickel is one of the most widely circulated coins in the country, and any change to its appearance would be seen by millions of people every single day. The goal was not just to refresh the look, but to reconnect Americans with the story of westward exploration and the nation's growth. Now, let's focus on the specific coin at the heart of this story, the 2007 5-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark on the obverse. At first glance, it might look like just another nickel. But once you know what to look for, it becomes clear that this coin represents a unique moment in time. The Denver Mint has a long and proud history of producing coins for the United States. Established in the early 20th century, it has played a critical role in meeting the nation's demand for circulating coinage. Coins struck at Denver are known for their quality, sharp strikes, and consistency, and the 2010 D nickel is no exception. In that year, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels, ensuring that they would be readily available for everyday transactions across the country. Just beneath the date, you'll find the D mint mark, indicating that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. For collectors, this small letter carries big significance. Mint marks can dramatically influence a coin's desirability and value, especially when combined with other factors like condition, strike quality, and rarity. Imagine a collector carefully examining rows of nickels, searching for that one flawless example. The odds are stacked against them, but the thrill of discovery keeps them going. When a pristine D nickel emerges, free of scratches, with sharp details and original luster intact. It feels like uncovering a hidden treasure. The collector appeal of this coin is also fueled by the broader popularity of modern coin collecting. In recent years, more people have become interested in searching through pocket change, bank rolls, and inherited collections. Modern coins offer an accessible entry point into the hobby, allowing collectors to build impressive sets without the high costs associated with rare 19th century coins. Within this context, standout examples of modern issues like the 2007 nickel have gained renewed attention. There's also a storytelling element that can't be ignored. Coins are tangible pieces of history, and each one carries a silent narrative. The 2007 nickel tells a story of a nation looking both backward and forward, honoring its past while embracing modern design. It reflects a time when the U.S. Mint was willing to experiment and innovate, even with its most common denominations. As collectors compete to acquire the finest known examples, prices begin to rise. Auction records and private sales reveal just how much demand there is for top-grade specimens. What was once worth only 5 cents can suddenly become a centerpiece of a collection, admired not just for its value, but for what it represents now. Imagine the moment of revelation. After all the history, the design details, the minting process, and the collector passion, the question everyone is waiting for finally comes into focus. How much is this coin actually worth today? In average circulated condition, a 2007 nickel is still worth just its face value. But for those rare examples that have been preserved in exceptional, near-perfect condition and professionally graded at the highest levels, the story takes a dramatic turn. These coins have achieved prices that surprise even seasoned collectors. And here's the big reveal that brings everything together. A top-grade, certified 2007 United States 5-cent coin with the D Mint mark has reached a current value of an impressive but 48 million.